right now. I want to ask you just on a kind of a general topic. Obviously, you're tackling
Yeah.
kind of youth sports. What does that ecosystem look like in the UK and comparatively, I guess, kind of to the US right now? Especially like soccer's taking off here. What are some of the differences you kind of see in those two markets?
Such an interesting question. I think it's worth saying that I'm not sure we can compare.
Okay.
UK and US. So in many respects, US is much bigger, is a world on itself. But when it comes to sports, um, it seems in the US, you guys, sports are more self-sufficient than they are in the UK, for example. So at grassroots and amateur level, the sports in UK is still very dependent on government investment and government granting and government funding. Hence, I guess, a college basketball in the US, which in the UK would still be an amateur level, but you cannot compare a college basketball in US with UK. Sort of, but if you look at sports participation and people watching and people coming to the stadium, just seeing for video clips, I don't have any stats, but there are more people watching college basketball in the US than there are watching professional basketball in UK. Just thinking about numbers. So there is no there's no way to compare those things. Now, and I think that's sort of why sports in UK and maybe in the rest of Europe, it is so fragmented. It's a lot less organized than it is in US. And we built TeamSportz across sports. So we know, I love basketball, I play basketball. There is a huge component and influence of basketball in TeamSportz, but actually we've got football teams, we've got netball teams, we've got hockey teams in the platform. So, which is fantastic. They want to come together, they still want to train, they still want to understand the game and what happened with the game. So we built TeamSportz as a multi-sport solution, sort of, being able to tap into, the variety and diversity of sports that exist. We don't want to close doors to any of those sports.
Right.
In the US, sports happen in a vastly more organized manner from sport to sports, whilst in UK, basketball leagues are organized very, very different than football leagues. Like, there is no way even to compare. Yeah, it's a lot more fragmented in that sense compared to US. Yeah.
No, it makes sense. I figured